welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is on Helix GPT with Innovation Suite. Many of you may have joined the past series, so this is the 7th one that we're running, and it's going to be focusing on Innovation Suite. Today I'm joined by Pawan Kari, who is our Principal Product Manager, and we'll be going through the Innovation Suite part. We're also joined by Carl-Anders Volk, our DWP Product Manager. He's also supporting Pawan today, and we've also got Raquel, who's also supporting Pawan today, and they will do their introductions later. Before we go into the reminders of the Q&A section, if you could just take a look at the legal notice we're going to show up. While you're reading that, the reminder of the Q&A will be available for you to put your questions in. We will have some time at the end where we'll go to live Q&A. Until that time, you will remain muted because we've got a lot to cover today. So I am now going to hand over officially to Pawan, who's going to do his introduction and get us started. So over to you, Pawan.
Thanks a lot, Sam. Hi, everyone. I'm Pawan Kilari. I have about 10 years experience in product management, about 19 years experience in the industry, especially in the enterprise products section. And from BMC standpoint, I'm a principal product manager for BMC Helix Innovation Suite platform. On a lighter note, I describe my role as of a platform engineer or a platform product manager in a more generic standpoint. And I say that's like a person walking on a tightrope with pole of expectations, hopes, ideas, innovations. But on a serious note, I take this as a challenge, and this keeps me going, giving me opportunity to build products that would make a difference. So I hand over to Raquel here to talk us through the introduction and strategy on agentic AI.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Raquel, and I'm the Director of Product Management that runs the platform team for BMC. So for those of you who have been joining us to this meeting series on AI and Helix GPT, you have seen these slides probably before. We are focusing on those different actions that Helix GPT will support our users and our customers doing while running their business. AI is going to change how we work, so we strongly believe all these actions will save a lot of efforts and a lot of time for many of our people running the software that BMC provides you with and help you run your business successfully. In that regards, we are aiming to deliver a fleet of Helix GPT agents to cover all aspects of the work that are being affected by AI. These agents will be connected on the one side to the data sources that you use on a day-to-day basis, both from BMC and from your own data sources. And we will allow you to use it openly with your own selection of the UI to run a GPT agent and with your own LLM and models that you trained with your own data. And then we are already out there live with customers running Helix GPT today with Helix GPT Employee Navigator and Service Collaborator. And we're soon to deliver the Knowledge Curator and the Change Risk Advisor. Click, please. And then the rest of the agent stack will follow the coming year. We are focusing here in the application builder part as part of the Innovation Studio, which is our charter to deliver. We also support our teams, and we will show that in this webinar. How do we use our own technology to build agents? So back to you, Pawan, for the next of the demo.
Thanks a lot, Raquel. So now we will look at the Helix GPT features for IS. So our focus is to look at what is coming or what is already there, GA for 23.3.2 release, and then what's coming in 23.4 release. And then we'll also talk about future. So future looks very exciting. So before we go into future, let's first start with what we have currently as part of 23.3.2 and 23.3.04 release. So this is about leveraging the generative AI capabilities in your application. So this is integrating the advanced generative AI technology to deliver dynamic, context-driven responses from various sources. And the sources can be external web resources, internal knowledge articles, incidents, and service requests. This feature offers a unified interface for developers to embed a chat experience seamlessly into iOS and other applications. We are also utilizing this in our out-of-box applications like BWF and ITSM, and we're going to see the demo in short. So we have enhanced this component in 23.304 to drive better usability and engagement outcomes, like ability to disable user prompts, display sources, reference links, triggering different actions, message upward, downward to trigger the feedback, and then also driving better engagement potential. We have options for buttons in terms of messaging, like copy, email. You can choose your own buttons, and you also have triggering actions for it. And then we have application links, triggering actions. We also can configure your own welcome message with predefined prompts. So we, as we say, right, we drink our own champagne. So when we build this component into platform as a Chatview component, and we want our users and our customers like you to use it, we ourselves are using it. So BWF is using this Chatview component as Helix Agent Assist. So case workers resolve cases faster by leveraging this Chatview component. So this enables component integration. Then knowledge sharing perspective, we allow the agents to seamlessly share links to sources, knowledgeable articles. They are again the actions which we have built. Then we have hyperlinked source articles in GPT response with ability to rate the response, give the feedback, positive, negative, scope of improvement there, and then copy the Helix GPT response with one click. We also support, we have like the apps have used the functionality to support generating email with Helix response with one click. Then even ITSM and both BWF are using this as a global search. So we now have an interactive question answer option with summarized response. So there we use the context with the JSON. We'll look at the demo very soon. The chat interface allows the agent to ask questions and summarize the response. So we have sources of knowledge articles. You can click onto the source. The action opens the entire knowledge article. Then you have wildcard and ticket-based search support. It retains support for searching using wildcard characters, as mentioned here. Then we have conversational search, which is enabled if customers have entitlement to Helix GPT. So now let's look at the detailed demo. Before we go into look at the demo for all these components, we first want to deep dive into the Helix GPT manager. So this GPT manager is built in Innovation Studio. It's an Innovation Studio application designed to configure and manage skills, prompts for GPT-based functionality. So the skills which we configure in the Chatview component, both in platform and then consumed by the custom applications by customers or our out-of-box custom applications, we have those skills configured in GPT Manager. So I'm going to give a quick demo of how the GPT Manager will work. Before this, I would want to walk you through the quick features. So we have an application, so you can select an application here. I'm using an example of live chat example in the demo. Then, for instance, the live chat can be configured. You can utilize the specific skills here. You can have the provider and the models associated to it. You can define the skill. So skill represents a domain-specific function, such as summarizing the conversations, handling the IT queries. Then you have a global prompt here. So this acts as an overarching guardrail to ensure that GPT stays relevant and accurate. By applying this, we prevent improper or irrelevant messages. Then we have model-specific prompts. Each skill is associated with a model optimized for the task. Prompts can be adjusted, and we can refine to work best with chosen model. So now we will look at the quick demo. So let us show an example. So as an example, we pick up an application, which is the live chat application, and then we configure the summarization skill. So inside the case view, the skill intelligently summarizes previous automated chat, and you can choose the option of the provider. You can also define the model. So by selecting the model, defining an example prompt, example generating a chat, you can open the summarization prompt, and you can see what we are summarizing, right, in that chat view component. And then, so we will select another example here. So this is like a virtual agent application. We select the Azure GPT model, then we select the prompt. So this is the prompt. This prompt talks about adding the dependents, and we'll look at the detailed use case of adding the dependents. Then we have search settings. So you can actually define the settings in terms of the service providers. So you have all the service providers configured, and you can choose your configured service providers. So now we'll quickly look at that use case of BMC chatbot where we will be adding a dependent. So I just mentioned that I want to add a dependent, please. So the Helix GPT assistant responds back that yes, of course we'll do it. And it asks relevant questions, interacts with the LLM with the responses back. So we mentioned the name, the full name, and then there's an option provided to add a child, parent, sibling, and then we select the child to be added. Then relevant questions are asked in terms of what is the date of birth. We provide the date of birth in the valid format as mentioned. And then we get a response in terms of, yes, we have got the information, and then we add other information. Then we can provide supporting documents, and then we get a confirmation about the information which we have just added. So this is the confirmation to the request, and at the end, eventually submitting the request, which is a DWP request for specific scenarios. And this process ensures flexibility, precision, and adaptability, enabling business to configure Helix GPT for a wide range of use cases. And this is how the service request would look like. So that was the demo from Helix GPT manager perspective. Now let's deep dive into the Chatview component first from the platform specific perspective. This is a detailed demo in terms of how do we configure all the different options which we are providing as a Chatview component. So first we will access the component. We will open any bundle in the application. We'll navigate to the view tab. So this is a test bundle we open. We then navigate to the views. We select the view which we have created for this demo specifically. We'll create a new view first with a container. So in the container, we locate the Helix GPT Chatview component in the palette alongside the other view components. We just drag and drop this. So upon doing that, you will see the different common properties which are available. We mentioned the name. Then we have something like skills. I talked about the skill. We'll talk about it in some time. Then we have other options like conversation limit. We have initial message. Then we have presentations, classes, and actions. Then also welcome message. And at the left side, we have this Chatview component box. We have time. We have static information. Then we have search bar and all that information. So now let us deep dive into each of these components. So let's start with the skill first. So skills are central to GPT functionality. We just saw how they are being configured in the GPT manager. These are fetched from Helix GPT manager bundle. So you have these different examples of GPT skills based on the task we want to perform. So we can include Azure, BWF, DWP, Gemini, and there are other examples. For this purpose, since we want to continue the flow and show the BWF use case as well, we will select the BWF case conversation skill for knowledge management use case. We'll select this skill, then we go to the context. The context is something where we would want to define the scope of the interaction. So when you see the insight during the initial message, you can give the context in the JSON format in terms of what is the context of this whole conversation. So you can completely configure this and you will see how BWF and the global search and ITSM are doing that in our demo, which follows from here. Then we have this conversation limit. This is configurable. We have set this to 10. We will change it to 1. So this is nothing but the limit of the conversation we want to do with the Helix GPT Chatview component assistant. So currently we change it to 1. This will just change this from 1 to 1 when we actually see this in the runtime view. And this depends on the responses what we get from the assistant. So this is the initial message. You can define the initial message to get the response from the Helix GPT assistant as soon as you get into the run time mode. So this you can configure as a expression. So you can give the expression in terms of how do you want to configure. So we'll just say hi in the quotes and we'll get a response during the runtime when we will see the demo for this. We also have the presentation mode where we can actually configure a reset button. The moment you select the activate the reset button, it will start showing this in the runtime mode. It also is seen in the design time as well. And then you also have a show user avatar. So it will display the image of the user who is actually doing the conversation if he has a picture. Then we also have other options like hidden, available on devices, and then CSS classes. So there is other components like actions, which we have created for before message send, after message received, on reference click. All this you can have different actions. So we will be using or we'll be seeing some standard actions which we have built for this before message send and after message. So let's open the edit actions. So these are the standard actions which we can configure. So then we also look at the welcome message. This is another component which I want to talk through. So we can mention the title. You can mention the name, then the message, what we want to send. We can give suggestions in terms of what you want to search. And you can also have actions to those messages. You can also add buttons, as I mentioned. So now we will see the demo for initial message along with the conversational limit. And then we will move to the other things like welcome message and then the source link actions. So we have configured this, saved this, and then preview this in the runtime mode. You will now see the insights. So this is where we get the response to that hi in the initial message. So our BWF component actually uses summarization skill to get the summary of the case. We will have a look at it in our demo for BWF, but this is how you can utilize it in multiple ways in your custom application. This is the search bar. You have the reset button type there. You just request to give me details about the dental benefits. As soon as we type this, it connects to the skill of BWF. It goes to the LLM and gets the response back. In the meanwhile, if you type something and try to send, it will not allow you to send because it is disabled. After you get the response, you can reset by using the reset new topic. But now you see you start getting the response. This is in the streaming format as we are using the stream APIs, and you get the sources, correct? And then you see the conversational limit was set to 1, and you will see that limit as 1 of 1. So when you so these are the sources, and you have an up button, down button. So we'll see other review where we have other buttons also configured, and this is the conversational limit set to 1. So that ends the conversation. So you'll have to start a new topic. So that's showing you how the conversational limit can be used. It also showed you the initial message and how the streaming and responses you get. So now let's move to the new use case or a different use case now. So now let's look at the welcome message. So as I mentioned, you can, so now when we will do the runtime of this, you will see the welcome message which can be configured. You can have the name of the user who is actually interacting with the Helix GPT assistant. You can configure the expression for title in the quotes by giving the full name. And you can also have the properties, and then you can also define the message in the expression for message. And then you can give suggestions. You can configure different suggestions. Here we have suggested the search options as PTO policy and so on. Plus, I mentioned about the buttons you can configure. So you can configure different copy, email, and other options. So you have the label, you have the icons. You can select the icons of your choice. You can select the CSS classes, the way you want to, the look and feel, the colors you want to use. Then you can edit action. We have standard actions. We will be using the copy to clipboard as a standard action here. So as soon as you click on the clip copy, it will copy the content on the search bar into Notepad or wherever you want to copy it. Then you can also define the components in terms of last action message, all messages, last reference, and all the other information. So let's look at the runtime mode for this. So this is how the welcome message will look like. We will also see the demo for the apps, that how they are using it. So hello demo, startup. So that is how are you today? And then we have the options which we selected in the configuration. We'll select what is the PTO policy. Then it will get the response back in the streaming format, as I mentioned earlier. And you will see the welcome message disappears and it goes into a normal chat view format. Now it will, so if you again type any message, it will not be sent because this is disabled. After you receive the response, you will now have the sources. So now I will explain that configuration we did for the buttons. So now you see you have the feedback buttons, then you have this copy button, you click on it and the content will be copied in the search bar. Content can also be copied in the Notepad. We'll see that in our next demo. So this scenario talked about the welcome message and then how do we have actions configured. We also have another action configured for the send email. So how we have done this is we sent a notification. So we've written a process as an action which sends a notification in the notification bell, and you can see this here. You can also send a message if you configure it in your email server. So it all depends on how you want to do it. So our apps have done it in a different way. They give an option to create a template, and then you can choose your own template and send the email. So you can, now we will look at the final scenario of actions, that how we can actually configure the actions in terms of the reference click for the buttons. So let's look at this final use case where you can select the kind of actions you want to perform. So we will perform an action of opening a new view when we click a button. So we will select the view name, the presentation, and the launch behavior. So launch behavior says open in a new tab. We'll do a preview in the runtime mode. So this is a new tab which is created, right? So now we will give the, we'll again ask a query for a dental benefit. And now we want to showcase how does the action works when you click on the button. So we'll get the response from the Helix GPT assistant of Chatview component. So now you will see the source links. Okay, so now when you click on one of the source link, you will have that action being triggered for opening a new view as we configured. So this will create a new action. Yeah, this is what we wanted to show, that this is the action. So that's really explains the chat view component. So now let's look at let's look at how, so as I mentioned earlier, we drink our own champagne. This exactly showcases that how we do that. So BWF, which is Helix Agent Assist, is using this chat view component of platform into BWF. So this is the case. We open the case. This is a quick demo, so we'll quickly surf through. We have two options. One is the global search and the ask Helix GPT. We'll first see the ask Helix GPT. This exactly is the insight. It is also passing the context, and then it summarizes the skill and gives you the information about the summarization of the skill. Now you want to ask about the relocation policy. So you'll get the response of the relocation policy. This is exactly using all the functionalities which were built in platform, and they're utilizing in a really great way. So you see the responses in the streamed format. Now you have BWF has chosen to have these sources. Once you click on the source, you have an action. They have built to go to an article. So they show an article. You can go to that article, which is a knowledge article, and you can see the details of that knowledge article. So they have used this action in their context in a useful way. Now you have a feedback which we can note here in terms of the thumbs up. That thanks, it was an excellent experience, and then you submit. If you do not have a great experience, you can also have a thumbs down and mention that, and it will be noted. Then we have also using the actions for copy button. You can copy this and then copy it on the notepad. You can copy it on the search bar, and then the same send email is done in a different way here. You can save it as a template. You can save it as a draft. You can send it to the email which is configured. Then we will quickly look at the search component. So here as well, the global search, they both ITSM and BWF have been using this. So this is the component where you can, the same things happen here, right? But I just wanted to show you that this is the welcome message they have configured, which we just shown in the Chatview component. And you can, so here you have only configured a single source for here, then the same thing happens. You can go into the knowledge article. That really showcases how BWF utilizes this. And you can see the knowledge article as well. Okay, so that's about it. So before we move ahead, right? So this exactly explains that how we actually use our own components which are built on platform to be utilized by customers, and we first try it ourselves, and that we exactly see. So now these the features we saw, they were something which we have GA'd. Now let us see the strategy. So this couple of items which we now see are very close to our heart. We have been spending a lot of efforts. We are very excited to showcase what we are thinking about in terms of the strategy. So we have already started doing POCs for this, and we are way beyond the POC stage now for this, and we have also looking for design partners. So let's start with the Helix application builder. So we will talk about an avatar here before we talk about the Helix application builder. So let's say hi to John. So John is a procurement manager with BMC IT. He's been using IS for ages. He has been building complex applications with IS. But his ask today is to build an automated application for procure to pay, which is a procurement application to procure different consumables like laptops, computers, and so on. So Helix Custom Application Builder, how we name it, empowers John to effortlessly build autonomously the different components which he plans to build in terms of procure to pay, right? So without any extensive knowledge from IS standpoint, from coding standpoint, so he's like a citizen app builder. So through intuitive conversational interfaces, John can now create, define the different components like the record definitions, the processes, and other components. The key feature of Helix GPT application builder is you can automatically help avatar like John to create these different components. You can also comprehensively create the other components like name list, associations, documents, and whatnot. Plus, you have an editing capability, which means that you can edit the components created by Helix GPT application builder. Plus, you can also additionally change or update the components which are created earlier by John and his team. So that is a very interesting feature we want to get on board. Then you can have intuitive chat interaction. So we would want to extend the chat view component, and we want to keep on extending that. So we want to extend that chat view component to have a seamless chat experience to build this. Then we are also planning to have end-to-end integrations in terms of testing this. So today when we build an IS application components, we have a lot of elements which are sometimes not best practices. So we want to include a test component which will test the automatically created application via application builder, like processes, like other components, but it will also test the current components which are built manually. So that is the power we want to get into. So in terms of value proposition and benefits, we are really democratizing the app development for citizen developers like John. We are streamlining the automated testing. So we are also doing substantial savings in terms of the timelines by automating or automizing the entire application building process. So this would be the screenshot how it looks. We have a quick mock-up demo for this. So let's look at the quick mock-up demo in terms of how we want to actually build so how John will actually build this, right? So he will just converse that he wants to actually have a example of supplier onboarding. So we'll just say that we want to have a supplier onboarding scenario. So we'll have the workflow being created here. So you see the workflow is created. Then we will say that, okay, we want do not need an approval from CFO. So you'll see the CFO track going off. Then we will add the Oracle procurement stream here. So we'll see the workflow being changed to add the Oracle procurement part. And then we will add the new supplier to SAP, right? And we'll see the changes being done. So we'll have a SAP supplier being added. Now we want to actually ensure that we have the testing functionality to test the workflow. So you'll see that that component which we want to test would be tested. So this is how we are, this is a small element of what we wanted to show in terms of the custom application builder. This is very powerful in terms of actually automating the whole process of application builder. So now we will move next to something which is very close to our hearts. And I understand a lot of our customers are looking for this. So we want to talk now about Helix GPT Eris. Eris means great. And this is a great opportunity for us to actually have an AR to IS application transformer agent. So this is like a multi-agent strategy, and it's an agentic framework which we are trying to build. And as you all know that for application to be qualified as agentic, it should be autonomous, it should be adaptive, it should be proactive, reactive at times, it should have a context awareness and not mandatory, but it would be a cherry on the top if we have an ability to talk to multiple agents. Eris exactly does that. So let's see how in terms of an avatar. Let's say hi to Nandini. She's a team builder, team leader for AR action request, custom app builder. So she actually manages a team of passionate AR remedy developers building complex apps. Her team has built about 50 to 80 custom apps on our platform, and they recently moved on to converged platform. So her team is very, very excited to actually use IS platform to its fullest, right? And they want to now transform the custom applications built on AR to Innovation Studio. So now Eris comes into picture. So we are introduced. So we have again crossed the POC stage for this, and we are looking for design partners, but we want to call out that this is a 6-layered multi-agent Helix GPT based cutting-edge solution which facilitates seamless translation of AR metadata constructs into IS using a multi-agent agentic AI aligning to our strategy, obviously. So this actually is divided into 6 agents. So it starts with an input agent where you know that AR today has an capability to be able to actually export into a definition file. So we will this input agent will export your simple application or a medium complex application into a definition file. It will be exported that into a preprocessor agent. Preprocessor agent will remove the noise. It will actually enhance this definition file, and then it will pass it on to the intermediate processor agent, which will transform and simplify it into a English business requirement document. So basically, you are actually creating a documentation of your AR app, and then you can update your content in that, and then it moves on to the next stage, which is the fourth and the fifth stage, which is the post processor agent, which converts this definition file, the processed definition file, into the JSON, the IS-JSON. Now, this is not a refined IS-JSON. We will then move into the sixth stage, which is the final output, the final stage, pre-final stage, where it will refine it further. The IS-JSON will be refined further. Then we will use the classic IS APIs to create and hand over to the output agent. And currently, we are creating the record definitions, views, and processes. And in future, we want to create other other components as well. And we are starting with simple and medium complex applications. And I understand there can be multiple complexities. So we want to work with customers like you and help avatars like Nandini and customers like Nandini to actually transform your AR to IS applications. So this was about AR to IS applications. So now let us look at what's coming in future. So we are really excited. So I'll share you few of the things which we are doing and the plans of the things which you have seen in the roadmap for future in terms of the strategy, as in the Helix application builder and the Eris AR to IS transformation agent. So we are building both of these into the agentic AI framework. We have already started the work on it. We are working with some of our design partners, but I want to call out loudly that we want more design partners for this. And I'm sure you are excited to be part of this. So we want more design partners, more scenarios, more complex apps, so that we build a very robust kind of an agentic framework. Then we will continue to, so we are doing this in phases. So currently we are concentrating on individual components like record definitions, processes, views, and so on, for both of these agents. And then we will amalgamate everything into a single agent to work as an application builder and transformation agent for Eris. Then we will also continue to enhance the Chatview component further to make it more robust, to make it more user-friendly, and also extend this to our other apps and extend this for BWF and ITSM. Then we mentioned about auto testing of applications. We will continue to do those features within the application builder and the transformation agent from Eris standpoint and our agentic AI framework, but we would also have a separate functionality which enables testing of applications. So we'll do it via the builder as well and have a separate functionality as well. So we also have a drag and drop attachment functionalities here, plus which we are looking to build further. Then we are also looking at multimodal input, voice and image kind of a thing. So here, basically what we are trying to say that we will have a voice input, voice output, and image input and image output. So in terms of multimodal voice, we have a voice message, for example, want to know the status of an approval. So it will invoke the browser through a microphone button. We'll have a browser alert, input will be accepted, voice to text conversion will happen, voice would be processed by the browser. We will send the voice as a text file to the LLM to interpret. That all will be done by that API of the browser, and it will send back the output as in voice output. So quite interesting, right? So that is what we are planning to do. In terms of image, also image input, image output. So there would be a button where you can also drag and drop the attachment by default, and it goes into the knowledge search. We're also building something, working on something very soon on query any record definition. So I understand that with all this agentic framework, we also want to have a feature in terms of being able to query a record definition. For example, when you're building a lunch order app. You want to query a restaurant menu, you want to query the locations, and that would do a query on a record definition. So that's what we want to do. So I'll just take a pause here, and now I will conclude my webinar with these statements. So these updates, what you all saw, right? These are big leap forward in usability standpoint, security standpoint, innovation standpoint, from agentic AI framework standpoint. So setting the stage for more powerful, robust, flexible generative AI and agentic AI experience. I want to close on a positive note, saying that in this era of generative and agentic AI, the future isn't just something we wait for. It's something we co-create with you, with a sense of deep empathy, structured ideation, and sense of responsibility. So with that, I close the webinar, and then I hand over to Samantha in terms of talking about the design partnership.
Thank you. Yeah. So we are always looking for design partners. If this is something that's going to interest you, we work very closely with the product UX team. So they're very closely linked to Kath, Rakeli, and Pawan. If we move to the next slide, and we will be sharing these out. We will be providing email updates. There's different activities we get you involved in, and also we nominate different participants, plus there's going to be some scheduled sessions. I know for some customers that in particular this sort of stuff will be of interest because you're looking to design further, and this is a great way to partner with us. There's 2 people in particular to reach out to, and again, don't worry about writing these emails down now. We work very closely with Lorna and Angela. They would love to hear from you. It's not a prerequisite, but it might be something you might want to consider at a later date. So do take that away from today. I think that then leaves us with, we will go to Q&A now, but all of the demand sessions that you've just seen, and again, we're going to be sharing those out. You can go back and watch all of these sessions later at any point, and anything with the Q&A that we've provided, you can also go to those as well. So